Hello, good morning, everybody.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Joe here.
Kevin,
So we're very excited to get into the next episode of Mad Men.
we're about halfway through season 3 here.
We
We are
are.
cranking right along.
And as you guys know, this is one of our favorite shows.
Oh,
Certainly, probably the best written show we're
I was,
watching.
I was just gonna say, I was like, I can't think of a television show that's written better and directed better, performed better. In that, it does not treat its audience like they're stupid.
No.
Ever. The expectations on the audience to pay attention and catch nuances is very high, and I love that.
I would say it's a tie between this and West Wing in terms of
Sure.
the shows we're watching that were really well written.
Oh, West Wing's incredibly well written, but even on West
It
Wing,
kind of holds your hand a little bit.
West Wing has
yeah.
moments with the Donna walks with Josh, where a lot of the political stuff is
Exposition.
explained to you, a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
There's not much exposition on this show.
No, this is
It's
very
like
subtle.
this is a very smart show. It's like you catch it or you miss it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want to rewatch this when we're done with it.
Sure,
just to pick up on
absolutely.
things that I have missed. And in many ways, we kind of have a certain aspect of we haven't seen it before, obviously, but like we're kind of rewatching it because you guys are filling us in on stuff we miss.
Right, sure.
One of you guys pointed out on I don't think it was the last episode, I think it was the episode before. We missed the wedding date of Roger's daughter.
Right.
It's the JFK assassination.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah, I
and
did
I was
see
like,
that
I
comment.
didn't even notice that.
Which means one thing. When we get to the actual date,
Yeah.
there's going to be a wedding and the assassination happening on the show, right?
Unless
Kind of
something happens to the
simultaneously.
wedding, which
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I assume we're going to get overlap. I assume
Yeah.
it's going to be a wedding
yeah,
that's
of
going to
course.
be a downer because the president dies that day, or everyone's attention's elsewhere, or people don't show up, or whatever. You know what I
Do you
mean?
think that means it's like an ill-fated marriage, or who knows? The show uses
Hard-
a lot of metaphors.
Hard to say,
So
but
we'll see.
I do know the wedding itself is going to be a bust somehow
I
because
bet
of,
they move it.
yeah, they may like
I have to
we're
move it.
canceling the wedding, and maybe the wedding doesn't happen because they're like this happens. It's like we're canceling the wedding, we're moving it a month, whatever,
Yeah.
and then they don't have it later.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
They're
This show,
going to have to address it for sure.
we're pretty good with our predictions on most of the shows. Sans Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
We miss everything on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Everything.
We're wrong all the time.
This show, we're hit and miss. You know what I mean? Like, we make a lot of predictions, but at the same time, we're wrong about a lot of stuff.
For sure.
But I'm glad that we are, because I like that this show subverts our expectations.
Right.
I like that we don't see where it's going, and I do like the subtlety of it, and I like a lot of the nuances of the characters.
Yeah, well, it's not
brilliant.
It's
It
not
really is.
derivative. It's not formulaic.
Not at all.
It's original, and therefore you're not going to catch you're not going to see everything. You're not going to see things coming.
You can't really compare it to anything.
No, this is as
I
good
mean,
of written a show as there is
You
for
can
sure.
compare it to like 50s and 60s dramas,
Right.
But at the same time, it is its own show.
It's much better than most 50s and 60s dramas.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because it's not,
Doesn't have
it's
the
it's
burden of the
serialized. It's
Hays
not
Code.
episodic.
Yeah.
It's a serialized show, so it's a running story. It's brilliant. It's utterly brilliant.
One of the best shows of all time.
Yeah.
Before we get going, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel.
Hello.
If you don't mind hitting that like button for us, leave us a comment down below, and please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all of our new content we have coming your way.
Absolutely. If you'd like to see the full reaction to this and everything else we're watching, please check out the link in the description to our Patreon page. We do want to welcome some new subscribers for this week, guys, so far. So Jay, Jack, Tyler, Katie Langton, and Emma Bergstrom, thanks so much for welcoming us. We really do appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
If you do want to watch along with this, you're going to have to sync and watch on your own source material. We, of course, are watching on AMC Plus, which is a very underappreciated streaming service.
Yeah, a lot of good hits on that.
Yeah, for sure. This episode contains disturbing images related to race in America where the character is shown in blackface. So it's just a commonplace.
Okay.
So, okay, I like the disclaimer. It says we're showing it because it happened, not because we don't know what we're doing.
Presenting the original episode in its entirety, so this must have been added later on.
Right. It's going to show that one of the characters is ignorant about race.
Everybody was in the 60s.
Right, exactly.
Played
the
Dorian
casting
Maid
and
in
Margaret.
Tattoo
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. From Patio.
The patio commercial.
Yeah.
Bacardi's coming in on Tuesday to see if Daiquiri Beach has legs. Don wants copy Monday morning and art Monday night.
Who's cracked it to fall through? Because you are going to spend the weekend being our slave.
No finger pointing.
Jane and Roger Sterling's garden party on the island.
Derby Day.
You going
Every
back
day.
in time?
Are any of you wearing seersucker? I don't want to look like a barbershop quartet.
I didn't expect to see you here.
For a little while longer.
Lovely to see you, Jane. I mean, Mrs. Sterling. Where are you living now?
Same old place, but we're looking. We're thinking about Riverdale.
I get a nosebleed anywhere above 86th Street.
Oh, God, these girls are snobs.
So
I know.
great to see you.
Mic drop. You can tell that. It's
Well,
so
she
good to
married.
see
She
you.
married up. She's yeah.
You know, they're both just like, I hate you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
Lola said you don't like a second cup of coffee because it makes you edgy.
I want you to forget everything Lola told you.
It's Roger and Jane.
I want to go.
So everybody's not
About a
really a fan of
dress.
Roger and Jane.
He married his secretary. Of
He
course
did.
not. Right, yeah.
Very
owner
young,
of the
a
company.
very young
Yeah.
secretary.
The owner of the company married a woman 30 years younger than him.
How's Babylon?
Bedtime.
House Babylon.
It's all right.
That's funny. I remember like reading with my grandpa back in the day.
Yeah,
It's really
actually,
nice.
yeah.
I like Gene.
I do too, sometimes.
What kind of fruit do you put in this?
It's rum and coke. I don't know. Cherry? All we have is olives.
A lime.
Right, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Citrus.
It's Bacardi-licious.
It's
terrible.
Bacardi Lightful.
We're supposed to sit
worse.
here.
Go get a blender. Maybe we can turn this into a frappe.
You get it.
I'm eating.
God, I really don't like Paul sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he's
It's
he's
kind of
very
like-
he's very full of crap.
Most of the time, it's kind of like, how do you have this job? You know
Right.
what I mean?
You like to get high?
Whenever I can.
A guy like you must be somebody you can call.
Yeah,
They're gonna get high in the
No.
office.
of course.
Go watch TV.
She almost neglects the kids more than Dawn does. You
No,
know
I
what
think she actually does. She puts them to bed at 8:30 sometimes.
Yeah.
When she wants to be alone.
Yeah. No, come on.
Is she stealing from her
She
grandpa?
sure is.
Edinger goes at the head of the table. He's the chief of surgery. It's where he always sits.
Not in your home, Greg. Hold
Joni, I don't want to have a fight right now.
and stop talking.
Oh, oh, good for her.
I hate this guy.
I'm not a fan.
I had $35. Now I have 30.
Are you sure?
Mr. Hofstad, why don't you go sit down and we'll all look for it?
Jane, here you go.
Oh, I don't want your money. You think money's the answer to every problem?
No, just this particular problem.
Right? Yeah, you're missing
Oh,
money.
I'm sorry, I don't know what
Yeah,
I want.
he's right.
Yeah. I hope they don't blame the maid for that. That'd be really
That's
horrible.
what I was just thinking
Yeah.
too, especially the racial issue and
Jeffrey,
everything
yeah.
at the time. Yeah,
Probably get you junk if you really
Looks
wanted
like
it.
Dave Franco.
How do
he
you
does,
know
I
doesn't
thought
he?
that was Dave Franco for a
Jeffrey's an
second.
old friend.
Your sweater.
It's mohair.
Oh my god.
You ever look out this window?
Yeah.
Is this kind of like the stereotype of the drug dealer who wants to hang out with you
Yeah,
after
I
you
think
buy
so.
drugs from him?
Yeah.
Like the incantation of that.
Like at Pineapple Express.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Yeah, yeah,
thinking. Yeah. The ladies seem to do better with each other after they get the men away from them.
Yeah.
You know, but in mixed company, they struggle.
I've always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Well, for sure.
Bet on the horses, drink
Oh,
that
yeah.
tulips. It sounds awesome.
Wear a dumb hat.
Wear just a big.
It's a
Out of
giant
place
hat.
hat,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, I didn't take it.
I didn't say you did.
Not yet.
Yes, they're in Mr. Kinsey's office. I know what they're doing. You don't want to go in there.
Coming quick.
Stinks in here too.
What are you doing? I know what you're doing.
Jeffrey Graves, Princeton, 55.
Oh my god.
I'm Peggy Olson, and I want to smoke some marijuana.
Yeah! I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how you feel about a lot of things.
Jesus, give it a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming on awful strong. I'm going to start introducing myself with my graduation
Just like a
year in
strong
alma
cigarette.
mater, just to see if people smack me in the face. There it is.
Oh my god.
It's Roger Sterling
It's
in
Roger?
blackface.
I never would have guessed it would be Roger.
You know who's really not enjoying it? Could you tell? Dawn.
Dawn's just like this.
Dawn is not enjoying
pathetic.
this.
Yeah.
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 What about the horse race? What about supper?
I wonder how people felt about this in the 60s. Do you think back in the 60s even people were
I
like...
think it was funny because they were doing it in movies and TV back then. you
Like in
know?
the 40s, though.
Yeah.
Like the 40s and 30s.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Jesus.
But how old is Breakfast at Tiffany's? I know
Oh,
it wasn't blackface, but it was close.
I think that was late 50s, maybe 60s.
We're on the same mission.
Hey, it's a guy from Major League.
This bar looks like it was set up
Oh,
by
it
a
is.
blind man.
Ed Harris.
And
Yeah.
there's no bourbon.
Rye okay with you?
You look like you know what you're doing.
Don is a
What
ride
kind,
man,
by the
isn't he?
way?
Yeah.
Don.
But somehow, no matter how expensive my cufflinks, I feel like I've got the head of a jackass.
Where I grew up, there was a roadhouse. I parked cars. Fancy people would go there, but they wouldn't let me use the toilet. I'd open up a trunk, and relieve myself.
Oh my God.
Somebody's drug.
Yeah.
You didn't. Pleasure to meet you, Don. Hell of a cocktail.
Yeah, it looks like it.
If you were feeling it, you'd be hungry.
I am hungry, but it's not worth moving.
You can't sing.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here not to fight.
If you refuse me.
Are they making up? Yeah.
Man.
I am so high.
Oh, Peggy.
I wish you were waiting for me.
Jesus. 8 months pregnant.
So,
And 30 years younger than her.
Yeah.
Or younger than
A friend.
I wonder if that was a big no-no back then. Because
I don't know. I think it's weird. I don't do it. I think it's
I
weird.
don't ask, but like,
You think they make no money now? You should have seen back when Ronald and I were first married. I taught kindergarten and made 3 times what Ron did.
If Greg becomes chief resident, then things will get easier.
The fact that Greg can get a woman like you makes me feel good about his future.
How about you fess up, Sally,
Yeah,
and we
she's
all move
feeling-
on with our
she's feeling
lives?
guilty.
Yeah. Just checking in the room. Boy, that's playing it up big.
yeah.
Grandpa!
That's it, all right.
Get over it, Jean. She gave you the $5 back. She feels bad. Move on. Glaring
I
her
was
down
wondering if he was
still.
going to give her like a less, like a, it's not okay to.
Betty, this is Henry Francis and
Sherry Ardmore.
Henry works in the governor's office.
Ah, the Charleston, where George Bailey fell into the swimming pool. Say, we must be pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Campbell lassos the moon.
That's the spin-off show.
Right.
This is the way the world ends.
Not with a bang, but a whimper. Yeah.
We got it. You're educated.
You think I don't know what you've been doing in there? I don't know what to say.
Don't worry about me. I am going to get to do everything.
If I ever need a pneumonectomy, that's the man. Great hands.
Oh, he's jealous.
Look, Greg, it's a complicated operation. Everyone gets a bad result every once in a while.
Oh, she doesn't. It's something else.
You know what? Enough shop talk.
I wonder
This
what.
is
Only Joan can make the accordion sexy.
She sounds great.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. I wonder if this song has any type of significance that we're not getting.
I wonder.
Yeah.
It's...
Oh, Jane is wasted.
Yeah.
You don't like me.
Okay, grabbing his crotch there.
I'm a nice person.
Don, can I talk to you for a second?
Milk?
I don't know what I did to get under your skin. It's a mistake to be conspicuously happy.
That's
no
not
one
it.
thinks you're happy.
No, thanks for that.
They think you're foolish.
Let's not take it too far. She obviously is beating herself up.
Oh,
he's gonna have a
grabbing the
read.
book.
Okay, good.
Oh, Gene.
All right, Gene. All right, I love Gene right now. $5 is a lot of cheddar to steal from somebody in
know.
1963.
The rustic manners.
I think her getting drunk like that and kind of making that little bit of a scene just really highlights the age and maturity difference between
Yeah,
her and Roger.
yeah.
I think that's the bigger thing than her just getting drunk.
Exactly.
And for her husband to be in his 50s and as regal and refined as Roger is, it's like
Somebody get her a glass of milk.
Right, they're
Like,
so different. Yeah,
get her a plate of food and some water.
yeah.
Like,
It just highlights the fact that, dude, you married a child,
and everybody there knows it.
and
That's what
everybody
Don was
there
saying.
knows
Yeah.
it. Right.
I think you're foolish.
Yeah,
You're foolish for thinking this is something.
No,
You're
nobody,
foolish for
nobody,
this.
yeah, nobody's celebrating your marriage, man.
Yeah.
They think you're an old rich guy who married a young girl who wanted an old rich husband.
Yeah. Well, him saying he's foolish too is like it's a double-sided question, right? Answer, right? Foolish for everything you just said. Foolish for
Right.
thinking this is a big deal. Just chill.
You're foolish for marrying a 20-year-old secretary. Not a knock on secretaries, but he definitely just
Leaving your wife for
found
30
some-
years.
leaving your wife at 30 years for somebody that's clearly
Your daughter's age.
and it's not even really age. It's just the fact that there is nothing in common between you two.
No,
nothing. There's
Not at all.
nothing shared between you two.
Lust. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is a great moment.
Yeah, it really is.
I like that Don has been better. Don has been a lot better with Betty.
No, he's
minus the episode where he was cheating on her and the hotel on his birthday. That was kind of a bad beat for Don.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. On his actual birthday,
baby steps.
right?
So-
Some of the viewers have pointed out, like Don definitely cheats on his wife, right? The insecurities, whatever, but it doesn't necessarily make him a terrible guy. And I feel like, that's as where you kind of assess the quality of a person. I think that's fair. I think there's what's your checklist of what makes a good person or a bad person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the old lady with Peggy here was judging Peggy really negatively for smoking a little bit of marijuana, whereas us in 2023 are like, who cares?
Yeah.
So she smoked a little marijuana. So I thought that's the same thing. I think it's completely fair to say, yeah, Don's cheating, but when you look at the time period,
everybody is.
It seemed like that was just what successful men did.
Well, I mean, they made a big deal of it in the first and second season. Everybody else's husband was as well.
Right. In the first and second season, they really
and
did.
Betty was naive in the sense that she's like, my husband doesn't.
Right.
He was probably the worst of them, But no, you're right. Don really isn't a bad person. I mean,
he's a good guy who does bad things.
He helps his friends.
Right.
He provides for his family. He's a caring father. He's not abusive. Emotionally, he's abusive for sure.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, even like he's a quite racially sensitive person as well. I mean, look at
the simple fact that he was the only one that was truly annoyed by what Roger was doing says a lot. I feel
look how he handled the Salvatore situation
right.
too. Like I would say Don is a good guy.
I'd say Don is a good guy who has some broken things in his head.
Very much so.
Right.
And a lot of that stems from his own childhood.
Oh, for sure. He's got abandonment issues for sure. That's why he's like, any woman around, please. You know.
And but he does have a moral compass, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
But the rest of the episode is fantastic. I love Peggy in this episode. I
do too.
loved Peggy in this episode. I mean, she's all business, man.
Right.
Even when she's whining back, she has that idea, kind of like Dawn does.
Right.
She is an interesting mirror to Dawn, and I did love that line. And she's like, "I am so high."
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
I want to real quick, Paul Kinsey.
Yeah.
From the last couple episodes, I'm starting to be like, do they really need this guy
They don't need
around?
Paul. They do not need
Because
Paul.
you made a comment that made me think about that during the episodes. Like, does this guy actually do any real work here?
What does he do there?
Yeah, he's supposed to be a copywriter, right?
Yeah.
And he certainly talks a big game about how great he is with the language and everything. But I'm not sure I've actually seen much of him.
He's not great at his job.
The few things that we've seen him pitch to Dawn, like in season 1, were shot down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We've seen very little successful work from Paul Kinsey. I'm like, I'm not sure how necessary this guy is. I feel like Peggy has replaced him as
very much so.
On the hierarchy of copywriters.
Does Paul have an office?
Yeah, I think so.
They were in his office.
Right. Oh yeah, because when he tried to kiss her, they were in his office. Yeah,
and they were in his office.
Right.
Smoking grass there too. But yeah, you're right. He would leave. He left to go on the Civil Rights March, and then this season he almost lost them the Madison Square Garden situation.
Right.
But he really rubbed those people the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big Paul guy. Look,
he's
work
funny.
He's funny.
Right.
Outside of work, he's probably a decent guy, but he is full of himself. He's very pretentious.
Right.
He's very self-important. And I like that the I forget his name, but the guy he went to school with.
You're right.
Princeton, 55.
Yeah, right. Princeton, 55. Yeah.
That guy, he even kind of called him out on it.
He did.
He's like, "You're arrogant."
He is arrogant.
And he's like, "What happened to your Jersey accent?" Which that comes and goes.
Well, and the art
guy, you go
guy,
to school and you get a little proper job.
Yeah. And then the art guy, well, I guess it was of the pair that was there in the office, the German guy. He's like, we get it. You're educated. It's like, I mean, really, like, dude, stop trying to impress people.
No, yeah.
Dude, how about do some work and not just try to say how impressive you are?
A little bit. I kind of wish we would have seen the ultimate revelation of what they came up with. I know Peggy's like, okay, fine.
I bet we see it
hammocks on the rooftop,
right.
But like, I don't know. I mean, like. I feel like today, like rum and coke, you get a lime. I mean, the whole episode is them trying to figure out what do you pair with rum.
Right.
And so
was rum not a huge import? Because I feel like
Tom Collins.
Exactly. I feel like rum was
Rum Collins.
Was maybe the Bacardi company was relatively new, but rum's been around forever. Pirates were drinking rum.
I know, but I mean, even with the maybe there was something there with the whole Cuban relation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like even Paul was like, it makes me think I'm gonna die.
Right, because you think it's Cuba.
Yeah. So it is interesting that is the product they're trying to churn out so close to the Cuban Missile Crisis. So I wonder if that was a big deal with ad agencies back then.
Sure. Maybe the idea of Bacardi, rum, and Coke together was a new kind of concept they're really trying to pitch. I don't know.
I wonder. I don't know.
Either way, right? We still have commercials for alcohol, so that it's not unheard of. But it does seem like you're right. It seems like you guys have never heard of putting a lime with
He
your.
had
with
an
your rum?
orange in his hand. It's like we're so close. You know,
Yeah,
like,
right.
we're
like,
so close. It's
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, you've got some citrus, homie. Just put it in
They're
there.
gonna have like a Reese's situation where it's like, oh, the peanut butter,
Right.
the chocolate.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get to see whatever Peggy comes up with, and I'm hoping she nails it because I feel like Kinsey needs to accept the fact that she has overtaken him as a creator.
Yeah, and we should touch on the Gene thing a little bit too.
Yeah, it's a good episode for him.
Great episode. Like
Yeah.
I said, Gene's a complicated guy, probably a bad guy earlier in his life.
Sure.
We don't really know. It's
Right.
kind of hard for us to judge when we don't know, and also like we have to consider the time for everything.
Right. He's kind of generationally lost here.
Yeah.
He moves into this house with everyone that's younger, and he's like, I don't understand anything that's going on here.
He's certainly a loving grandfather.
He is.
You know, that was the most grandfather thing I think I've ever seen in my life. You know,
Don had such a great line with that, though. You think money solves everything? No, just this particular problem. The problem of missing money.
But the thing is, though, I understand what Gene is saying.
I do
don't
too. I
just
get
want
it.
$5. I want to find out what happened to my $5.
Right.
Who took
I
it?
want to
you know?
correct the actual issue, and
Yes.
it's not money. It's the fact that somebody stole money.
And he handled it perfect.
Yeah, I think he was a little rough on Carly. He was being pouty and a bit of a baby.
for sure.
Which was not okay. Carly was like
a little racially tinged. I think she.
I think
she
it
knows
was there too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Big race episode. What was with
yeah.
the blackface? You know what I mean? Like that was very poor taste of Roger. Also, that kind of ties it around. We talked about how Jane shows her age with the alcohol.
Right.
Roger shows his
Roger
age
showed
with that.
his too. That's a good point. They both showed
Yeah.
their distinction in age.
They are opposite ends of
Right.
the spectrum there, man.
Yeah.
So this was like we said, very complex show.
That's
You
a
get a
good
lot
point.
of
You
nuance
did.
there.
You got Jane being drunk as the I'm too young to handle this party, and Roger in the blackface singing the Civil War era songs and being like, "You're too old for this party," you know.
Like, Jesus, Roger.
And somehow you two are supposed to be a happy married couple. I don't buy it either.
Interesting choice of how they showed that.
You think they stayed married for long?
I doubt it.
I do too. I doubt it.
I can see it going either way. I can see it being a loveless marriage, kind of like a Connor
It
Willow
would-
situation.
It would
you know what I
actually
mean?
be kind of
well,
funny
Connor and Willow aren't married. But,
if like Hell or High Water, they did stay together, like for the whole run of the show. Like I hate you more.
It's like a spite thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone thinks they can't, you know.
Well, it kind of seems like, I mean, there's two marriages that are at play here. Joan and her husband aren't married either, are they?
Not yet. I don't think they got married yet.
Okay.
I don't think. I'm not sure.
That's an interesting comparison.
Right.
Because they're kind of in the same boat.
Right.
Not age-wise, but just like...
Oh, Joan is so much better than that guy.
And we didn't find out what he did.
Oh, I think it's going to come up. I think we're going to see. I think their marriage is as dumb as it sounds. I think their marriage is on rockier footing than Roger and Jane's.
I like that they're pairing that those two are like going through similar issues because Roger and Joan do have a thing. Like
Right. They've had that. Yeah, they've had a history together. Yeah.
And so they're an interesting parallel as well. Kind of like how Don and Peggy are. Obviously, Don and Peggy are not emotionally or
physically together.
Physically
right.
together
They've never
at
been
all.
physically together. Right.
But it's interesting how the show pairs up these characters to one another.
For sure.
All right. Well, guys, this is a fantastic episode.
So good.
We will catch you in the next one.
Take care.